The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. My name is Leo Connors and I'm your host. And I have two special guests tonight making their third appearance, right?
That's right.
Sethoran and Vanity Vixsin. Guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Guys, real quick before we get right into it, I just got to give one shout out. I want to give a nice shout out to Mike Crockett, Max Smash Master, and Sonny Goodspeed for talking about the show here on the podcast, Wrestling Podcast About Nothing. Guys, check it out, man. It is awesome. Guys, thank you very much again. All right. So, Saturday, you guys had a big day.
Yeah, we did.
You had a brutal match.
Yeah.
And you won the APW Tag Team titles with your partner, Gallo.
Yes, I did.
Want to tell us about, well, we start with you first. Because I saw your chest in the pictures. And Mistress Belmont hit you pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty much a sneak attack because Uncle Letty got me to the side and she came out and just attacked. We pretty much just beat the living crap out of each other out through the outside. We didn't even start the match. And she had me on a table, everything. We were just going crazy.
Nice. You've had quite a few matches with the two,
Yeah.
haven't you? So you
Yeah.
guys got good chemistry.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Now, do you remember who you beat? The Anti-Americans.
Anti-Americans, yes.
You and Gallo. Now, can you tell us about your time in APW and winning the tag team titles?
As a tag team,
Yeah.
we've been
now.
there, I believe, 3 months now, and we just shot right into the main tag team scene. You know, one day we went and worked one match, and I say you work in the tag champs, and that was it. You know, and I want to roll with them. You know, doing whatever we can to make the promotion stand out.
Nice. Now, there's a few tag teams in there too because you got American made.
Yep.
So I'm sure they're going to end up being a thorn in your side down the line.
Pretty
You
sure,
know,
yeah.
it's Hunter Wood.
Yep.
And Jake Sargent.
Yes,
and
yes.
Big Guns Jib
Jib,
Sargent.
yep.
Yes.
Big Jib. He's a big dude.
Lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. Oh, he did.
Yes.
You haven't seen him
Ah,
since. Wow. Good for him.
Pretty thin.
Good for you, Jim. I know you're also wrestling in Liberty States.
Yes.
Now, for yourself, there is a question that we'll get to about Liberty States after. But have you had a lot of matches with women in Liberty States?
I've had a couple.
Yeah.
I've had more with men.
Right.
But no, we have had some women come through. So
Right.
I
Nice.
have had it.
All right. Now, I want to bring up Wrestling Academy Revival. I almost said it wrong, and it's written down. That's,
Took me a while to get it to.
Now, how did you get involved with those guys?
I started going up to their classes when Demon Ortiz was running them. It still is running them.
Right.
I went up there and just to try it out, you know, get some training in for myself. And I believe one day he couldn't make it or what I was and asked me if I could run a class, which I did. And I thought nothing of it. Went home, and about 2 weeks later, I got a text if I wanted to be a trainer up there on Wednesday nights. And I said, sure. You know, that's how I got involved with them. You know, I was already going to their shows because she was on the shows. Right. And then just one thing leads to another, I ended up being a trainer there.
Nice. Now, that you have how many kids you got traded right now up there?
It was 5 or 6.
Yep. That's all right, though. That's good. You've trained all over the place for people, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been training people for years.
Yes.
Did you have some type of hand in Tommy Mack's training? Were you there when Tommy first started?
When he first started,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, early on. When he first started, I did. It was over at Lobster Man's.
Yeah, the gym upstairs, right?
Yeah, the gym upstairs above the church.
Yeah.
Of all places.
Now, did you train there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice.
The walk up the stairs was the worst. It's like,
Well, I really want to dive into how Nightbreed reunited. Now, you guys were together for how many years before you broke up?
We're talking about, I believe it was 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
When WFA was around.
Right.
He, for one reason or another, I know he was getting married at the time, so obviously he was starting a new family.
Right.
All that. And I know he had this dream that he wanted to be a writer. So, you know, he broke off and went to do his thing. I kept on singles up until now. But every 4 years on the dot, I would send a text and email. Somebody would say, hey, we want to book Nightbreed. I'm like, well, that's hard. There's only one of us still wrestling. So finally, every 4 years, there was another one. Hey, can you do it? Oh, I'll think about it, man. Maybe one day, you know. So one day I called him. We were talking about it, and he didn't say no.
Okay.
He didn't say yes. So which was different, you know.
Right.
So, but I thought nothing of it again. So one night I was doing a show for Liberty States.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of secrecy going on in the locker room. I just didn't get what was going on. I thought I did something wrong.
Right.
But it was around my birthday, too. So I'm like, all right, am I going to get embarrassed here?
Yeah,
am I
yeah.
going to go out to the ring? And I kept on going around talking to guys like Christian, like, don't embarrass me. Like, whatever she's telling you to do, you're not doing it.
Right.
You know, he's like, what makes you think that? I go, why are you all grouped over there? Why are you grouped over here? And nobody would tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
She goes out for an admission, comes back in, same thing. So now I'm trying to bribe Christian. Christian, you know, I'll buy you dinner if you just tell me what's going on. You know, or whoever can speak to it, try to bribe. They're like, we don't know, ma'am. So the music hits, I go out to my match, and right when I look across the apron, I see my partner sitting in front row.
Wow.
So I'm going, what's this all about? So I go around, you know, we did our whole little Nightbreed, high five, and I go in the ring and start to have my match. So never did Nightbreed wrestle in Liberty States.
Okay.
Ever. So I did a thing where, you know, I hit a bat with the chair shot while I was on the guy's crotch or whatever. And the crowd broke out into a Nightbreed chant, which I was floored.
Right.
Because I was like, there's nobody here that I
Yeah.
know that knows
Right.
about Nightbreed. So that night I said to my partner, hey, I got to talk to you about something. And he goes, yeah, let's go out to dinner. So we did. So I started laying a thick on him that this was my last year wrestling. I said to him, by December, I think I'm done.
Right.
You know, I went through some stuff that took the wind out of my sails. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But no matter what I said, it was, hey, man, you shouldn't leave something you love. Or, hey, man, you should do this.
Right.
Even if you do it once a month, you should still do it. And I'm like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, again, thought nothing of it. We left. I started driving into Boston to spend a night in the town. And I got a text. And the text read, well, Nightbreed's back, so you can't retire. You can't leave. You can't stop wrestling. And I said, Nightbreed's back? When did that happen?
Right.
When were you planning on telling me? He goes, well, I just did. So then, you know, for the next 3 or 4 months, we were going down to Bo Douglas' school.
Right.
He was very...
The Belltime Club.
The Belltime Club. He was very, very, very nice to us. Whenever I sent him a text,
Right.
I said, hey, man, this Friday afternoon, do you think we could borrow the ring? I mean, no questions asked.
He's a great
He would
guy.
send somebody down there, unlock that school for us,
Wow.
give it to us for 3 hours alone. No, again, no questions asked. So the return of Nightbreed is, you know, a big deal as to Bo for helping us,
Right.
you know. And we just kept on training for 3 or 4 months. We spent all summer in there,
Right.
you know, just going over stuff and seeing what's going to happen. And then we made our first debut match was for Liberty States.
Yeah. Who's your guys' take on?
It was Ike and Marco Santiago is what we took on.
Okay.
Which the main thing of that match for me was the welcome back chant that just broke out.
That's awesome.
I
And like
was-
you said, you guys had never wrestled.
Never wrestled
So
it.
somebody was telling everyone.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
So,
Got it
I
real
mean,
quick.
and after that, I remember getting into the back room and my partner going, this is rolling now. Like, let's see what happens,
Right.
you know? And then that's when we started doing APW. And right now, the rest is history right now.
Wow.
You know?
Now, you had told me off that you guys didn't team for 12 years, was it?
12 years. We went
12
to-
years.
12
Now,
years.
that's like, usually teams get back together a lot quicker than 12 years.
It's a big span.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
It was a big, long span there for 12 years.
And he surprised you with it,
Right,
too.
right.
That's even better.
I just remember
You had no clue.
I remember going over stuff though. You know, we were even training, and even now in matches, like we don't miss a beat. We don't like have to talk to each other about
Right.
anything. We just don't. But I was just weird because I kept on questioning us, and I was like, "Hey, man, do you think we can still do this? Like, can we do it like the way we did it? Can we
Right.
still pull this stuff off?" He's like, you know. And I remember one day I was mad about something. He sent me a text, and he was like, "Keep the water out of the boat."
Right.
And then I was still mad about something. We went to Curtin just before going out for that first match, and I remember him putting his hands on my shoulder, and he was like, just keep the water on the boat. Come on, man. I need you to fire up.
Right.
Come on, fire up. Because he knows when stuff gets to me,
Yeah.
I just go into a shell.
Right.
I just don't care. And he was like, come on. And I remember, like, I guess last APW show, Johnny Vegas told somebody in the back room, wow, it looks like Sethoran's having fun out there. again. And it is. I'm having fun again. I'm enjoying the people I'm working with.
Right.
Everybody's been really cool. APW has been really taking care of me and us all together. You know what I mean?
Bunch of great guys.
Same thing with Tom Sobel. Like,
Yep.
he helps me out too. So.
Oh yeah, you've
I'm
been
having fun
wrestling
now.
fan for a long time.
I just had to get out of that
Yeah.
little dark phase I was at
Right.
with the little. But once I was out of it, I'm like, I'm having fun now.
Nice, that's awesome. Now, how long have you guys been wrestling with Furtado at Liberty States? Because I don't even really know how long the company. I know the company's been around at least 5 years,
Oh, it's been
longer
around
than
more.
that, right?
Oh,
He's
way
been around,
more.
he's been around at
Really?
least 10. He's
Nice.
been around. I think I've been wrestling from 8 of that.
And he's got some great crowds.
Yeah.
I heard a good loyal
Yep.
following,
Yep.
just like APW does.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
That is awesome. Well, I want to just bring up something real quick. I know your partner Gallo is an author. You said it.
Yes, he is.
So I'd like to just plug a couple things for him.
Sure.
As an author, he goes by G.M. Browning. He mostly writes about science fiction and fantasy. A couple of his books you could check out: A Legend of Blackwater, that was done in 2006, and the award-winning High Seas Adventure in 2008. Everblade in 2013, and now I'm going to go backwards again because I should have did it the other way. Cerulean Isle, that was also in 2008, so he was pretty busy then in
Yeah.
2008. Magic Moonstone in 2013, and the book he's working on now is called Karma City, and you can definitely find it online. Hit you guys up possibly too on Facebook to find out more.
Yep.
Awesome. Is there anything you guys want to talk about before I get into fan questions?
No, we're pretty open to anything else. Yeah.
Okay, because I got a big list for the name game too, so
We
we
saw
got
it.
plenty of things to talk
You
about.
did a lot of thinking on that.
All right. So we're going to do the fan questions. The first one is from Brandon Belanger, who's been a guest on here 5 times. When will we see Nightbreed in Liberty States again? You guys weren't at the last show?
We weren't, but we will be there December 22nd.
Nice. You
That
hear that,
was-
Brent? He
that was
goes to
just-
all of them.
That was just booked today, so we will be there December
That
22nd.
is awesome. See that,
Yes.
Brandon? I know you go every month. Next up is Hunter Ward. Now, have you had any run-ins with Hunter in APW yet? I think you're gonna.
Well, maybe. We haven't had any in-ring, backstage. We're cool with each other.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy to be around.
Oh, definitely.
Always shows me mad respect. So
Right. Well, we just talked about it, but you can still touch on it for him. How training is with War.
Like I said, very, very fun, and it's different every night you go.
Right.
Ortiz has his way of training. I do mine.
Right.
I think Stiff Mike also, Mike King, he has his days that he does his training. Everybody, you get it a little bit different from everybody.
Right.
So it's pretty good. You're not stuck in one. This is only how you do it.
Right. All right. I'm gonna just ask the last part again, this part of it, because I mean, with some of it, I'm not gonna, because you've already answered it,
Right.
But what are your thoughts about you being a part of it? Like,
I enjoy training
Right.
the newer guys coming in. So, and again, I have fun. And just like, seeing people look at you and they're grateful for what you're doing for them
Right.
and all that stuff. So to me, I just get enjoyment out of passing on knowledge, and making sure people do this the right way,
and it's got to be rewarding when you see someone go from here
Right.
to there.
To
It's
the
got to
next
be.
level.
Right.
Joe Moakley wants to know, how does it feel to have Nightbreed back together and performing at APW?
It feels really good. Like I said, those guys have taken care of us, shown
Right.
us nothing but respect. I mean, I can't put it to words like how good they've been to us,
Yeah.
So it feels great being there, and doing what we're doing right now. Again, we just started there. We're hoping for bigger, better things, and to, put the promotion really on the map,
Excellent.
Because Michael Morse and Joe Moakley have been real good.
They've been really good to us. Yeah.
Yeah, because Mike just jumped aboard a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's got to be. In fact, got to be a big help to Joe too, who was probably doing a lot more than he
by
has
himself.
to do
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
So-
guys run around like crazy. I wish you saw that.
They're
all
actually
over
coming
us.
back on in February. I'm going to do a separate show on the week, like on the weekday, like
Right.
on a Tuesday. If I just got to find the studio availability,
Right.
Right.
Because have them guys in, because they plan on having a big 2019.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
One of the only women that ever gives us question, Christiana Moya, which is Brandon's girlfriend. Question for you, Vanity. Where did you get those light up shoes?
Okay.
Can't mention the name of the place.
I can't mention the
Okay. Well, hit her up on Facebook for the name of the place,
Yes.
but you got them at a cool store, I would imagine.
Right.
All right. Because she totally wants a pair for herself. Haha. All right. Also, what is your favorite type of clothing to buy?
I just jeans,
Yeah.
regular clothes. Like he wants me in the whole dresses, and I'm just like that tomboy. I like
Yeah.
to be comfortable.
Right.
But I'll get into dresses once in a while.
All right. Thank you, Christiana.
Thank you, Ed.
Mav. This is a couple good ones, though. I was really excited. When Mav sends in questions, they're
get a little scared when he says that
either real quirky and, you know what I mean, funny. But this one, I like it. What was it like wrestling in Mexico? And, sir, you kind of said, serving as the translator between the New England Costa guys and the Mexican wrestlers.
It was hard because the way they do matches over there, it is not like here where, okay, here's the main way we're going with this. If there's 6 guys in a match, these 2 guys have a 5-minute match planned out. These two guys.
Okay.
So now instead of putting all of us in separate ways or maybe even together so it works out easier, they would put one guy over there that was came down with us, and that's 2 other guys over here. So now I have to translate these matches because I'm the only guy that knew how to speak Spanish.
Right.
And I didn't think about that when I jumped on board to do it. So I remember going to guys, you remember everything you went over with this guy? Yeah. Then we get out there. They're like, I don't. So I would legit be doing what I was doing, or maybe selling and doing whatever, and I was getting instructions yelled at me by the Mexican guys,
right?
And then I'm passing them over to these guys. And then like one time in particular that I didn't know what was going on. When you botch something, they don't try to fix it. The heel team just stops the whole match and starts jumping the bayface team. And I get one of the guys that were on that side botched something. One of the Mexican guys botched something, and the other team started cheering. The heels. I'm like, what's going on?
Right.
Next thing you know, we're being pulled down off the apron. We're getting tossed around. We're getting chopped. I mean, I think we took like 100 chops each. They just started beating on us for somebody else messing up a spot.
Right. It wasn't even you guys, and you got the beat.
So then I'm talking to the guys kicking my butt and trying to explain to all the other guys on my team what was going on. But it was like I had to just sell around this whole building to tell people, here's what's going on. This is why this is happening to us. You know.
Now, one of them was a AAA, because Mav's second question is, how surreal was it to wrestle on a big AAA show in Tijuana one night and in a Mexican prison with elevated concrete pads with 4 posts for a ring the same weekend?
We got there the first day. That night we wrestled the big show, and we were in awe of like how many seats were in the place, how big it was, and how cool it was, and how crazy it was. But I just know that when we left there, Ripper kept on saying to us, "Just wait for tomorrow, guys." So we went got something to eat, went to our hotel rooms, and we just kept going, "Wait till tomorrow. It can't get bigger than this, can it? Are we going somewhere further, And we just didn't think anything of it.
Right.
Woke up that morning, they put us in some kind of shuttle. And they brought us to this what looked like a fortress, but big brown walls.
Right.
I thought nothing of it. We go up to these big metal gates. That's me, Vixsin, and Fury. We're just standing there with big grins on our faces. And then the big metal doors open, and the first thing my eyes attract to is the big AK. That's pointing. It's not even pointing at us. It's just the way the guy's holding it.
Right.
It's pointing out the door. Right. So I looked at these 2, and then I looked at Fury and I go, "What did we get ourselves into? What is this?" But I go, how bad can it be? I still don't know it's a prison.
Right.
Still don't get it. I walk through, they take all of our IDs and they start stamping us. And I guess if the stamp wore off, we couldn't get out.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd be a prisoner.
So I wear my wrist tape up to here, so I was like, no, stamp me up here.
Right.
And then I'm hearing in Spanish what people are saying that they're going to do to us if they get a hold of us. And then I'm like, why would anybody say that to us at a show? And I look up and I see all the prisoners that are up high. And I'm like, well, who are those guys? They're like, oh, those are just the murderers. Oh, just the murderers. Great.
Only that.
And that's when I looked at these guys. She wasn't allowed to work the show.
No.
Lobster Man would not allow her to do it. He held on to her all day.
Probably it was a very good idea. Very smart.
Because he didn't want us all to be distracted and she could get taken. As they said, anybody gets taken, we don't negotiate for you guys. I'm like, great, that's wonderful. I've been walking into a locker room, and the locker room that they showed us, and I said to Fury, we got to get out of here. Like, what do they want for our match to be? And he's like, I don't know, like 15? I go, no, like 5. Like, I want out. I want no part of this.
Right.
And during our match, Wolfman wasn't our match. He got hurt. And that called the match early, and I was like, we gotta go. I mean, we couldn't leave. And then we're in the locker room. There's still prisoners like sizing us up, like one of these guys. I mean, it was just, it was getting knocked down a few pegs, really
So
quick.
you had the murderers up here, the rapists probably over there. And,
you had little kids running around. I guess one of the rules or the laws over there is if both your parents commit a crime and they go to jail and get out of age, you go in there with them.
You go to jail too.
And if they're there till you're 18, that's you. That's when you grow up. I mean, there was kids. It was like an indie wrestling show in a prison. That's what it was.
And just like the post and all that, when you said it sounded like when Sonny learned to train with Jeff in his backyard in the winter on frozen lawn chair pads, just the pads.
The ring had four ropes, not three. Yeah, all the rings were up on as hard as this floor. You know, it had no give. It was just something. It was just something to experience.
When you went over there and you wrestled for AAA, was there anybody that like you wanted to meet that was real cool, or anybody that you wanted to meet that wasn't?
We made a huge deal because we saw Psychosis walk in.
Nice.
And me and Fury had we're trying to do that thing where Mysterio had to do, where it was like the head scissors, and somehow Mysterio ended up behind them, and they came into the front and turned into an arm drag. So we tried that for 4 months. We should have. We were probably too big or too tall for it. And finally, we pulled it off one day at practice. Never used it on the show. And so when we saw Psychosis, we just wanted to tell him that we thought he was great, blah, blah, blah. So he walked by. He had his own locker room, and Rey Mysterio's uncle grew to like us. Nice. And he kind of was hanging out and talking to us, and they're like, he was like, you want to meet Psychosis? We're like, oh, yeah. So he brought him over. The guy started taking pictures with us. Awesome. He was really cordial to us the whole time.
Cool.
It was really cool.
Nobody was like mean or disappointing?
No, they had a guy that came in. His name was Super Porky.
Yeah, I know who that is.
At first, he intimidated me because I was in the bathroom getting my contacts in.
Right.
I don't know what these guys were. They were chaining or whatever, but he legit came in like forearming walls and anything that would make noise. And he's like, where are these Americans? Where are these Americans? And then finally, there was a story that I thought was funny. They're like, this is how I'm going to break the ice with him. And I would have broke the ice with him in the whole locker room at Fury's expense. But I did it, and I was like, all right, now these guys are cool. They're not intimidating at all, And that's how I broke the ice with them at least.
He was probably ribbing you too.
Yeah, he was. Oh, he was.
Yeah.
I got one more question about Mexico. I know in the United States you work the left.
Yes.
In Mexico, is it they work the right?
They work the
so
right.
you guys had to work the right.
We had to work their style.
Right.
They were flying up here and working us at Lobster Man's promotion.
Okay.
So there was a summer there where they came, and before shows, after shows, they brought us to practice, and we were learning stuff that they would do, and how they would do stuff, and how they would roll in the ring. For some reason, I had a sciatic nerve problem at that time. I didn't want to roll, and I kept on bumping in the ring. I shouldn't have. But yeah, we had to learn how to work from the right, how to give an arm drag from, which was weird because we were doing it from the left for so long.
Right.
And doing it from the other side, I was like, I can't do this. And so yeah, it was a learning curve, but we got through it.
Now, when they came over here, they must have been real happy to meet Super Santo. Jeff's good old Gary, right?
Yeah. I don't think Gary was around for that, but they saw videos. Because one of them ended up coming to my house, and I'm like, let me show you what Jeff is talking about. And I would play all the stuff. He's like, oh, okay,
That's
I watched one of the guys sew up ring gear on my kitchen table. He legit sewed up a whole bodysuit while he was sitting in my house, like in 3 hours. And then he sewed up some tights for me that I think years later I handed to Christian. And Christian ended up wearing them in a match.
Excellent. So Brandon Belanger has another question.
All right.
And I'm going to say, Brandon, I'm asking it anyways, okay? But listen how it starts off. A very stupid question. And hopefully I'm not disrespecting the business by asking this. But has Liberty States Wrestling ever thought of having a fan as a special guest ref? Because that would be cool. Before you answer, Brandon became a guest on the show because he asked me if I ever thought of having fans on the show.
Oh, is that good ideas?
So, yeah.
I mean, that's something that would be up to the promoter. I mean, referees are something that they have a big part in the
huge part
in the match. So it's not something that we would put just anybody in there, I would think.
Right.
But again, it's something you have to talk to the promoter or get some training.
Yeah.
To do.
Well, I just want to read Hunter Woods respond. Brandon, it's cool, but very dangerous. Wrestling isn't ballet, and the ref is just as important and vital in the ring as the competitors. That doesn't mean you can't ask and try, Brandon. So I'm just busting your chops. You know that, man. But let me tell you, Mavs respond to that.
Oh, boy.
That's not a question. That's a condom-thin disguise request. All right. Damon Farah wants to know, Vanity. Is it now time for a women's championship in Liberty States Wrestling?
Yes. I think it's about time.
Damon, tell Todd. Tell him you want to see it.
Yep.
Come on, Todd.
Yes. He's probably not watching. Todd.
Oh, he will. I'll get him too.
Okay, good. For Sethoran, as a trainer at War, how do you feel the future is for APW? In my opinion, APW deserves to be comeback promotion of the year.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I think the future is bright. I got the good guys training there.
Right.
Comeback of the year, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I just talked to Mike Morse about this at the last show.
Right.
And I said, I remember sitting in the audience, and saying, there's something missing here. And I wasn't downing the stuff, I wasn't telling anybody that, but to me there was something missing. And they just put their heads together, and I feel like to me it feels like this has happened overnight.
Yeah.
That they just turned that place around. The minute Mike started showing me pictures of the new advertisement,
Yeah.
I remember telling him, this is gonna work, like this is what you want. Now it's gonna look like something. This is gonna be cool.
Right.
So yeah, they've worked very hard. I don't know if these guys even get sleep.
Right.
Especially with me. Sometimes I'm texting them like, hey, what do you think of this idea? Sometimes the ideas might not even be for me. It might be for her. Imagine,
Right.
what do you think of this? Or hey, maybe if you tweak this. So and like I said, I always try to bring it up. But these guys working night and day. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and they're always like, even if you do send the ideas or talk to them, you can talk to them freely. It's like a family.
Right. That's awesome. It really is.
It feels really good.
My friend Dan Bollier wants to know. This is 3 questions, okay? And you can both each answer it, okay? Who is your favorite tag team to work with? And that includes you because you work with them too, from the outside. You know what I mean?
To be honest, because I think I was married. Well, 2 of them.
Okay.
I like the Egomaniacs.
Yeah.
Because when me and my partner were first put together at WFA, I didn't have a clue. I knew how to do a tag team match, but I just didn't know how to be a team.
Right.
Because I did singles for so long. I was like, now I got this extra guy, and my partner was, it was his first year in the business.
Okay.
So now I got this guy I got to teach and worry about this. And I remember Johnny Idol and it was Mike Steele, I believe, just sat us down and were like, this is how you do it. And we, our very first show, we main evented the show, and after the match, I think 2 hours later, we were still back talking to them, and they were like, this is how you do it. This is how it's going to work for you guys. Right. So they were my favorite on that because they actually took care of us. So when they broke up, we were in the middle of an angle when Mike Steele was done wrestling, and I was very disappointed because I knew we could have learned so much more.
Right.
Because they were like the top tag team in New England at the time.
Certainly were. They certainly were.
Everywhere they were. I remember seeing them in NCW.
They were great.
And the other team would be the Noise Boys.
Yeah.
Because I think we just beat the crap out of each other for so long. And every time we thought we really messed up a match, Steve would say, that was really good. I go, how? I think we killed each other. Well, that's why it was good. You killed each other. You guys worked really hard and, got the credit. So the Noise Boys would be my other tag team that I was.
Yeah.
And what about you, same too?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what teams in New England right now would you like to work with?
Well, I would like to work the Mainstay Posse.
Yep.
I think that's going to be a possibility at some point. Eventually, somewhere down the line, I would like to work the Logans. It's a team that I've seen work everywhere. Right. I've been on shows with them, seen them work, and since I was never a tag team guy, recently I never got to work with them. So that's another team I would love to work.
All right. Who came up with your gimmicks?
Well, I was already doing a vampire gimmick.
Yeah, Vampire Sethoran.
I was Morbius at the time.
Oh, that's right. That's the first when I first saw you were. That's right.
And the only reason I came up with a gimmick is because Jeff wanted me under a mask, and I just didn't want to do it. So I'm like, so he goes, give me something colorful, anything. So if you look at the gear, it was like purple tie dye, anything I could get.
It was colorful.
I just didn't want to do it. So I started doing that, and then when Steve had the meeting that he was going to open shop around here. At the meeting, he started telling people what their gimmicks might be.
Yeah.
I was surprised I was going to get stuck still with the vampire gimmick. And then he goes, oh yeah, that's your partner over there. So he points at my partner, who I met, I think it was less than a year prior. And according to his story, he felt not insulted but embarrassed because we were working for NECW at an outdoor Woburn show. And I had wet my hair down to go off for my match against Justin Shape. And he asked me on my way to the ring, hey man, how do you get your hair to look so wet? And he says that I looked at him, smirked, and said, water, but with disgust, and I walked away. I keep on telling this because I was on my way to my match. He keeps saying I was being rude. So when they stuck me with him, he goes, do you remember me? And I said, yes, the hair wet boy. Yes. I was like, but then that's how, we got put together, and then Steve's like, you guys come up with a name. Right. And then I came up with Nightbreed, Gallo came up with his own name, and then Steve was the one that came up with our music and all that stuff.
Nice. Nathan Fuller wants to know, this is for all three of us. Who is the best NXT star right now, men and women? Do you guys watch NXT?
I do.
So who do you like in the men's? I'll go take with the men's and then we'll do the women.
All right. Men's, I have to say Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I feel like every time I see him work a match, I send him a message.
Right.
You know, and it's just, he's so believable. It's so,
phenomenal.
I mean, his promos, everything, like, it's well-rounded, you know.
Biggest heel in the business,
Yeah.
really. I think. I mean, the best, I should say.
Yeah.
The best. And yourself?
I would go with him.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I'm going to go different, but I totally agree with what you guys said, only because I want to be different. The Undisputed Era, or War Raiders. I keep wanting to say War Machine, you know, with Todd and
yeah.
Ray Monroe. But the Undisputed Era is pretty good, too.
Right.
oh, yeah, no, as a tag team,
Yeah.
definite.
All right. And for the women,
For the women, you can say her name. I'm going to butcher her name. The MMA girl that they have now, the champ.
Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
She is good.
I really do like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been watching some of her stuff.
I'm going to go different again just for the hell of it, but I like Bianca Belair. I just like the character. She swings the hair around and she's just the arrogant.
She
She
beats
thinks,
people with her hair, too.
Yeah.
I think I've
She
seen
whips,
that.
she whips, she's whipped people with. I'm like,
but I mean, definitely Shayna Baszler is definitely the woman breakout star, you know? And the other one, too, Carrie Zane.
Yeah.
She's pretty good, too. Did you see that last match on the TakeOver?
Yes,
Did you see all the TakeOver last time?
No, I think I got. I think it was somewhere. I don't know where it was. I was watching on my phone, so I got like
Right.
half of it.
Great show. And that War Games match was
Yep.
awesome.
I saw like the girls match, the War
Yeah.
Games. I think I saw Tommaso's. It was
Yeah,
the three
yeah.
I
those
watched.
three.
Velveteen Dream, too.
Yes.
He's another guy
Yes.
that's unbelievable.
Yep.
You know?
I like his gimmick.
Yeah, me too. When they gave it to him, it took him a little while
Right.
to really get
Get into
comfortable, and now he's killing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
He is killing it. And I remember when he did the Tough Enough. You know, he was just Patrick
Yeah,
Clark.
see, I didn't like him with Tough Enough, but then I see
No,
him
that's
now.
what I mean. Me too. I feel the same way.
Now I see him now, like wow, like when you to me when you can look at a guy and almost believe that that's
Right.
his thing.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, all right, he's doing. He's got it.
Oh,
He's
he's
got it,
definitely
you know.
good at it,
Yeah.
for sure. Let's jump into the name game. I got a lot of names, and if I know we won't, but if we run out, I got some in the back of my head, so don't worry. Gary Cadallas, the Torch.
I haven't seen him in years. I have not seen him. I think the last time I saw him, I forgot the name of the place. I worked him and then I didn't see him again. He was doing like a comeback.
Yeah.
But good guy. You know,
Yeah,
I was married
see
to him
that.
for like a year. You know, for some reason I was always married to these guys as I came through. But we wrestled a lot more in Vermont against each other for Green Mountain Wrestling.
Now, he was a face most of the time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really remember seeing him wrestle as a bad guy ever.
I don't think he could be.
He was always so fired up as he came
He was
out.
just
really.
a nice guy.
He has that face that
Yeah,
was too
and when
big.
you
It's
looked
too
at him,
much of a baby.
Right.
he was a nice guy. Like he's like, oh, this guy's a nice guy. And you just looked at him.
Right. I don't bring his name up enough. Great guy, DJ Barron.
I just saw him 2 Liberty State shows ago, I believe it was. Either 2 when we did the Nightbreed comeback, and another great guy.
Right.
He's always. I mean, I've known him since I started. I started working for Jeff at least.
Right.
And he always been really nice to me. He's a really good guy. I like him a lot.
Same.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
All right. Seeing that I brought up DJ, I have to bring up his partner and his best friend, Sonny Goodspeed.
Sonny, I mean, I was just talking to Sonny the other day. Again, a guy that when I started, we had to think, what would Sonny do? That's what me and Johnny V would say. After really getting to him, I had to say, I can't do what Sonny does because I get in trouble a lot. But yeah, he helped me out a lot, tremendously. You know, I mean, he taught me my first drop kick, believe it or not. You know, from being a bigger guy. And, you know, every time I see him, he's the same genuine guy
Oh, yeah.
that he was the first day I met him, you know,
That
I'm talking
is.
25 years later.
Yeah.
Still the same guy with me.
That is awesome. Alex Arion. I know you worked with Alex a lot in the same companies,
Yep.
at least.
I had a few good matches with Alex. Last time I saw him was, I believe, was when he came out of retirement to do Fury's last match.
Okay.
And we pretty much picked up where we left off, you know, just talking and, you know, good guy.
Well, we just watched this next guy on the War Games. Handsome Johnny. Warbeard Handsome.
I'll give you a story about how I met him.
Yeah.
Embarrassing as it is. So we were still going to the Love Cements old school,
Yep.
but it was being run by Maverick.
Right.
And this one day, I know it was Handsome Johnny, Fury, and I want to say Julian Style walked in to train. I knew 2 out of the 3 personally, but I didn't know Handsome Johnny. So I'm sitting on a workout bench, like a bench press thing, and I'm just watching what's going on in the ring, kind of critiquing, and everybody shakes my hand except Handsome Johnny. He snuck on behind me, and he sat behind me. He straddled me, and he put his arms around my waist. As I remember it was cold in there, it was freezing, and I was sweating because I didn't know what was going on. So I kept on staring at the ring, and I'm like, maybe if I ignore him, he'll go away and just shake my hand, and it just didn't happen. So I looked at her the first time, and I looked at her, and she shrugged her shoulders like. So I went back to staring in the ring. So now I start critiquing what was going on in the ring, and I don't know if he wanted to throw me off my game with it, and he just started kissing down my neck. His little pecks, and I'm going. And then I looked at it, I go, what do I do? Like, what do I do here? And then I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna look at him and see what he does. I went like this, and he just looked at me, chuckled, and then got up and said, "Handsome Johnny." And then went and sat down. I'm like, awesome.
That was awesome.
It was pretty embarrassing at the time, but it was funny. When I got to know him, years later more, I was like, I get it now,
Right. That is funny. How about Tommaso Ciampa, the NXT heavyweight champion?
Tommaso, my story with Tommaso, to be honest, I was telling someone a few months ago, was there was a time I took like a year or two off of wrestling. And when I came back, I was training at a school, and my comeback match was coming, and I was really nervous. And I felt I was out of shape, whatever it was.
Right.
And I was like, but Tommaso also was coming back from a knee injury, and working out at the same school and helping guys train. So I never went out to him and said a word to him. I was sitting in a corner, and I don't know if he overheard me tell Johnny Vegas something like, I don't know if I can do this. And I remember there was a set of stairs. I remember him sitting next to me and saying, here's what you need to do, man. And he just started giving me pointers on how to make myself at ease about doing it. And, I remember to this day when I talked to him, I say, I probably would have never came back if you didn't sit next to me that day. He must have heard when I said, I'm not doing it.
Wow.
And he gave me the whole, you're going to regret it, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling you, it helped me. And the fact that he barely knew me,
Yeah.
It just took the time.
Yeah.
It took 5 minutes out of his time to be like, hey, look, here's what you're going to do. I'm like, all right. And I went with the most confidence into, my return match. I've been doing it since, you know.
So does it surprise you that he's had the success he's had?
No.
Not at all.
No, because even again, the little bit that I saw of him,
Right.
He was always motivated. And when I saw him cut promos in the school and stuff like that, there was something about him.
Right.
And every time I heard that he got hurt, how quickly he just came back, and he was working hard. He was everywhere. It's and he marches to the beat of his own drummer.
Right.
No, he's not following anybody or any clique or anything. And I think that's what you need to do in this business.
Right.
I think when you start following people, you fall into their stuff. So sometimes you have a group of 5 guys and this guy's really good, but because you're following them, I don't think you get better. I think now you start believing this guy's hype, and you start, pushing his name up. And I think when you're by yourself, when you start pushing yourself. And I think that's, to me, what helped him out a lot.
Nice. We got to go back to the AWA. Guy that you probably did a little training with, Tommy Mack.
Tommy Mack, I trained him for a little while, and then he had his first match, and I believe that first match came, it was after 9/11, I believe. It was that weekend.
Okay.
Or 2 weekends later. After that, he just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I saw him again for a while.
Right, then he came back.
Yeah, then he came back, I think on one of Maverick shows.
Yep.
And then I saw him for a few more, and then
Yeah.
he was gone. So Tommy Mack, we were never close as I talked to him a lot. Every time we see each other, we talk. But because he kept coming in and out, we were just never close. And by the time he came back full ops to me, full time or Mav full time for a while, I was working for Steve, so we were just never in the same place at the same time.
Okay. One of my favorites for a little while, then he stopped, Jeff stopped running shows, but I used to love seeing him run it. Dr. Heresy.
Dr. Heresy, another good guy. Maverick used to do these tournaments. What was it? Ultimate Endurance.
Okay.
And I remember there was one night. Well, the way it works is you have singles matches during the match, and then the 4 people that win their matches,
Right.
would have a gauntlet match
Yep.
at the end to determine who the winner is. And I won it 1 year, and then we came back on the second year and did it again. And the first match I worked Sledge. I don't know if you remember him. He was just a really big
Yes, he used to
Canada guy.
tag team with Scott Reed.
Right.
Yes.
So actually, it wasn't Sledge I got first. I got Egghead first.
Okay.
And I did the code breaker to Egghead, and my sciatic went out. And I
Yep.
was supposed to win this and the title on the same night. So I was limping in the back room, noticeably, and I kept on saying to her, my sciatic is hurt. We were at the Elk. There's an Elks in like Somersworth or Dover. Whatever. The room was divided, so you could hear the locker room guys where we were. So Sledge was the next guy out to work me. So I remember for some reason I called it hard buckle, and I remember Sonny, hearing Sonny's voice going, "Why would you call that if you're hurt?" I didn't know. So finally, I go over on Sledge, and the next guy, Heresy's music hits.
Right.
And the ref, I'm just laying there. I think the referee might have been Mike Crockett.
Okay.
And I said to Crockett, tell him just to pin me. There's no way I'm moving. So Heresy rolls in. Crockett says to him, go ahead and pin him. And Heresy comes over and doesn't pin me. He starts working with me on the ground. And I go, just pin me. I don't think I can walk. He goes, easy peasy. We're going to sit here until you can move again. We'll do this.
Right.
And for the next 10 minutes, it's Heresy doing all the work. And I was like, wow, you didn't have to. I remember him telling me, go for a figure four, and I pushed him. He took a full flip bump out to the floor, and I heard when he landed. And I said to Crockett, is he hurt? Why is he doing this? And I remember texting him, telling him I was forever grateful that all he had to do was pin me. He just we wanted my night to work out for me.
Nice.
And he was really cool about it. So, I mean, to this day, if his birthday comes around, I'm always contacting him here and there, But great guy,
Yeah.
Nice. How about Brutal Bob Evans?
It's funny. Somebody posted a picture a few days ago of Bob with hair, and I told everybody I used to be scared of him when he looked like that.
When he was centerfold Bob.
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
he would come through the curtain and make these faces, and I was just training. I was like, oh, guys like that are gonna kill me. And later on, it was like the guy that I was going, when I was starting, hey Bob, what do you think of this? So we do matches, and at the time he was very innovative, with the stuff he did. He's like, well, we're gonna do this that turns into that. I'm like, he goes, I got it, But Bob, another good guy. I still talk to him here and there.
Another good trainer too.
Great trainer, yes.
And what I said too, the centerfold thing, I thought it was the funniest thing. He's got a disposable camera. He can't afford, like I'm sure a part of the gimmick was he couldn't afford a real camera, so he's got that was a good little gimmick. Killanova.
Killanova, Christian, huh? Christian, going back to what you were saying about watching guys that you help train and come up the ranks. Christian was a guy that when I met him, I thought he was already working because he sat next to me with all this confidence in the world talking to me.
Right.
And I said to him, how many matches? Where do you work? Oh, this is my first day at the school. I go, why aren't you in line with everybody? And then he went through some stuff that I helped him out with, and we became really close friends. And then just to see how he went from that Michael Jackson thing, which I always thought he was doing good.
Yeah, no, I definitely think he was doing
and
good.
And then when he got the Killanova thing, I said to him, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is going to work. What do you think? He goes, I'm going to make it work. And like watching him now, sometimes I'll text him like, one day I think you're going to get signed, man. And he's like, oh, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Just to see how he's come along from where he was to where he is now.
Absolutely.
It's, just watch him grow up in front of you. You're kind of like, wow, this is really cool, man.
And whoever put them together with Triplicious, whether it was them two or whoever, genius, man. To help, and I said it here before, Christian's so talented, and so is Triplicious.
Right.
But to have a 16-year veteran in your corner that you bounce ideas off, or he could say, listen, you shouldn't have did that.
Right.
Next time, do it like that.
And I've seen the different incarnations of the group. Now they just added a kid by the name of
Royce Bishop.
Yep. And he fits in better.
Yeah.
Because Royce actually, I don't know if you know this, was an actual rapper at one point.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he traveled Europe and stuff.
no
I mean,
kidding.
he would tell stories of working with Method Man and all the stuff.
wow.
So he fits in, and they're best friends. So it's like I've seen a little bit of it. I'm like, this is gonna work.
And he's a good-sized kid.
Yeah, he is a
ain't
good-sized
no
kid.
little
Yeah,
guy,
nope.
Awesome. And how about Christian Angus? I haven't seen him in forever.
Speaking of talks of guys that wanted to quit the business, all right, he was a guy that we used to pick on when he started training because he was just not in shape. So we always ran him through the mill. And then I remember one day, I think we busted his chops so much that he wanted to leave. And I remember sitting next to him. This was like one of my last times at Jeff's before going to Steve's. And I remember sitting next to him and going, you walk out that door, when you're 60, 70 in a deathbed somewhere, you're going to regret walking out that door.
Right.
And I remember going to do my thing. I came back, I was like 4 or 5 years later, and he's like Mavericks champion, telling me, if you never had that talk with me.
Right.
And he was one of, he knew how to ground and pound, he knew how to do the ground wrestling. I mean, I worked him a few times when I came back, and I remember telling him, if you don't tell me how to get out of this, I'm never getting out of it.
Right.
You need to tell me. He just learned how to do the grappling, which I thought was great.
And he was a good-sized kid, too, like 6'2" or 6'3". I mean, good-sized kid.
And all around good person, too. He was always, he was a good kid.
Nice. How about Mistress Belmont?
Absolutely love her. Yeah, she's we've had a lot of great matches together, and we had one great match. It was with Steve, and I remember it. We wanted to get a WFA chant so bad, and we're like, and I know she was pretty new, and she was like, you know, we talked about it, and she's like, you know, thank you, because like I took care of her and stuff, but I'm like, we just have that chemistry.
Right.
So it was funny because there was a board that was kind of broke, and we were like, let's use that in the match, and we'll do a suplex. So I was like, sure. So it was actually her brother, Paul, that actually, I think, helped put the board in the ring. So they set up the chairs, put the thing in. She went to give me it. I flipped it, and I nailed her through it.
Nice.
So we're laying down, and we're both smiling. We're like, okay, wait for it. We're like, wait for it. Because we're kind of whispering to each other. We're like waiting for that, like the holy chant.
Right.
And the WFA, but we got the holy chant.
Nice.
So we're laying down, and we're like, I'll take that. And we're just smiling. And it was the greatest ever. And then just from that point on, then I took time off, and I started reuniting with at Mavs at Front Row Wrestling.
Nice.
And we had a lot of hardcore matches.
Oh, she's a hell of a talent. She really is.
Well, we have a huge last woman standing match coming up for the Full Force at APW.
And is that going to be December?
No, we don't. It's to be determined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, seeing you brought his name up and he's on the list, Big John Paul.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yep.
He's another great guy. Like I said,
Yes.
when he started, I couldn't believe how big he was.
Yeah, that's what
And
I mean. He's a
remember-
big dude.
I remember somebody telling me that him and Belmont were related. They were brother and sister, and I said,
Right.
how?
Yeah.
She's so tiny, and he's massive. And I was doing singles back then for Steve's, and I was working John Poe a lot. And for some reason, we couldn't click. We just wouldn't click. We just wouldn't click. What's going on here? You know? And we did one match at White River Junction, and we clicked. And I just remember somehow the ring was surrounded with guys. And I thought that was, like, it turned into a lumberjack match.
Right.
But it was just so the guys could just sit there and hang us along. And I remember it was like, to me, and I was told before, it was a near perfect match, you know? And, you know, since then, me and him became pretty good friends. Everywhere we saw each other, you know, it was always a hug, you know?
Right.
Like, awesome guy. You know, can't say anything negative about him.
Nope.
Mav. His name's been brought up so many times already.
Mav. I love Mav. Mav is an awesome guy.
Love Mav
You
to
know,
death.
every time if he reads our social media, we, like dumbasses, post something we shouldn't post about, you know, oh, we're so depressed. He's just there for us.
Right. Yeah.
You know, always there for us, you know. Every time we see him again, there's nothing but love there, you know.
Yeah.
You know, Mav was another one that when Steve, you know, didn't do any more shows,
Right.
I sat at home for a few months and I got that phone call. You shouldn't be sitting at home.
Right.
Come work for me, you know. And he
That's
saw
awesome.
that I came back. I didn't have any confidence. There was no confidence in me whatsoever.
Right.
You know, I felt like it was beat out of me at that point. And he just would put me in situations to show me you're still good.
Yeah.
And I bet he would put me with the students, and I'm like, I don't want to work students. I don't want to carry anybody.
Right.
You know, I go, what the heck do you think I'm not good enough? He goes, you'll see. And then when I started carrying students, I said, I can still do this.
Right.
If I can call my match in that match.
Yeah.
And then, you know, then I figured out what he was doing. You know, but Mav again, awesome guy.
That's
Yeah.
everybody loves him.
Yep.
You know, he is a great guy. Let's see. How about Ripper Morrison?
Another amazing.
Another amazing guy. My
Yep.
very, very, very first trainer.
Really?
Very first trainer was Rip Morrison.
Nice.
I remember tried to get into the business. He pulled me aside, and he wasn't. Back then, I don't really know how it is now because I don't know what the pitch for every school is.
Right.
But back then, like, they would take your money, whether
Oh,
you
yeah.
thought you could do this or not.
Right.
They just wanted your money.
Yep.
You know. So Ripper just was honest with me. I was 120 pounds, maybe. I think I was as small as Ike. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I walked into this place thinking I was going to be a professional wrestler, not a manager, not a referee,
Right.
a wrestler. So he took me up to the sound booth and he was like, "Look, kid, I don't want to take your money. You know, you're too small. Why don't you leave here, go gain 25 pounds of muscle and come back, and I'll try you out, whatever it is." I go, "I'm 17, man. I can eat 5 pizzas and not gain a pound. How do you expect me to
Yeah.
eat 20?" I go, "So you want me back when I'm 80?" You know. So for some reason I was stubborn, and I saw who the promoter was down there, and I asked around, and I heard the guy saying when I was coming to the building that he needed money to go drinking. So I said, "How much is a tryout?" And he goes, "Well, it's $50." So I gave him 100. I go, "Can I try out?" He's like, sure. So when Ripper came back down and saw me still, he goes, I told you. I go, sorry? And then, he did it hesitantly.
The rest was history.
Yeah, hesitantly, he trained me,
Right.
But, he was there for me. Like, and he's always been there for both. When she broke her collarbone and we couldn't drive home because we were advised not to, it was this place we stayed at.
Yep.
If I needed advice, even to this day, I'll send them a message for advice. I get it. It's as straight as you're going to get it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get nothing sugar-coated.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's still a guy I lean on from time to time and talk to.
He is a great guy. Bugsy Stone, he was here last week.
Yeah,
Did Bugsy work the show Saturday?
Yes. I met Bugsy. I think I've seen Bugsy before, but long time. But I refreshed my mind when I started working with APW, and he's, again, cordial, very nice guy, nice to me,
Yep.
To me, with all these guys, to me, it's respect.
Yeah.
Give respect, get respect.
Yep.
And it's. I don't think I've been around in the past few years anybody that I want to say like, ugh, I don't like that guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bugsy, a fun guy to be around. Once in a while, I hear a good joke come out of him, and it's like cracking up.
Nice. I don't know if he's back at APW, but I heard he's coming back to do a body slam challenge. I think with Tommy Mack. Big Woody.
Big Woody's another good guy. Everywhere I see him, he's always, really nice to me.
Yeah.
It's sad that he's at an APW now when I'm around because I was always like, oh, it's
Right.
cool, I get to see him. But he comes on the Liberty States, and
Yep.
and I see him time to time. Another guy that a lot of respect for.
Nice. How about the Devil's Reject, Brandon Webb? I don't talk about him enough on the show either. I really don't.
Me and Brandon Webb hung out a few times.
Yeah.
We did an ACW show together. We pitched us being a tag team there. And I remember they separated us and put us in two separate matches. And we're like, why?
Right.
But we're in the same colors.
Yeah.
I remember going up. I think I went up to whoever was Bo. There would have been Bo Douglas that I went up to. And I said, "Is it the makeup? I'll have him splat makeup all over my face."
Right.
Like, why are we not in the same match together? You got two guys that look almost the same,
Yeah.
with the same color gear, and it just didn't work out that way. But I love Brandon.
I think it would have worked out good, too.
Yeah,
I think
for
you're
sure.
right. How about Vern Vicalo?
It's another kid that I saw come up
Yeah.
when he
Yep.
first started.
He's working hard.
Yep, very hard. And
Absolutely.
every time, him and a few other guys, if they post something online, I watch. I'll send them a little critique.
Right.
He does very well. I love watching him. We've only worked once together, and I hope to work again with him. But another guy that's come far, from where he was.
Nice. I got to just tell you, Dan Terry, but before I say anything, you guys got to go to my page later. I put up clips of the show, and the best story ever told here is by Dan Terry.
Oh, boy.
And you can watch it. And I'm telling you, you have to watch it. You
right.
want to
Oh.
laugh, you will laugh. You will. You'll just crack up.
Can imagine.
How about Josh Briggs?
Josh, I haven't talked to Josh in a while.
He's got big things ahead of him.
I haven't talked to Josh in a while, ever since I haven't been at that school.
Right.
So.
Okay, Robo.
Robo, geez, he's another nice guy. I remember when he first started, I misinterpreted something he was doing, and I remember yelling at him.
Right.
And I said, "Don't think that because you look like $1 million, you're gonna look that tomorrow, right?" And I remember the other day we were talking about it, and I'm apologizing to him. I said, "I'm sorry I said that to you." He goes, "Don't be." He's like, "Don't be, because you telling me that just showed me how much harder I had to work."
Right.
And he goes, "You were always honest with me, and you always told me how it is, but I know you did it out of love." Because he goes, "I noticed every student that came through you, you loved them. You called them, you talked to them."
Right.
And then he was telling me in his culture, how they hold any teacher up to certain standards.
Right.
And he was, telling me my culture, we kiss our teachers' feet. But I'm like, well, I'm not asking you to do that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, but again, I go, you're doing well for yourself. He's another guy that's doing really good. And again, he looks awesome.
He does.
You
He's
know?
in such great shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see big things. I think big things are ahead for him.
More, as he gets better and he's, gets a little bit more seasoned, he's
Right.
going to be.
I want to bring up another female, Davian. Is that how you say it? Davian.
Davian.
I'm sorry. I
Said
butcher
it.
names. I'm sorry.
Love her. I've done a couple matches with her. Not enough.
Right.
Not enough.
She's definitely a hell of a talent.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe when I found out she went to Japan so early in her career.
Yeah.
That is awesome. How about, let's see, Buddy Romano.
Buddy Romano's fun. He was my mom's favorite wrestler.
Really?
I got mad at my mom for that.
Yeah.
He worked Liberty States when he was doing the Ramona Romano?
Yep.
And I remember doing my match or whatever and driving my mom home. And I said, so just so, so what do you think the best part of the show was tonight? And I'm like, oh, she's gonna say your reaction to the ring.
Yeah.
She goes, I love Ramona Romano. I said, are you kidding me? Oh, I just love, and every time I would give her a ticket to the show, she was like, is Ramona on the show? I go, oh, so you don't care if I'm on the show?
Right.
Is Ramona on the show? So I remember telling Buddy Liz, I'm like, my mom loves you, man. Like, she doesn't care to watch me. She wants to watch you. But another great guy. He's always been awesome to me, too.
I got 2 names that I have to get to. Danny Miles.
Danny Miles, I've worked Danny Miles a few times. Fun, very nice guy. You know, he's really good.
Yeah.
You know, again, nothing negative about him at all.
Another guy that's been working at the WAR facility, Demon Ortiz.
Ortiz, you know, we talked about this at class one day. He said that when we were at WFA, he said he always wanted to work Nightbreed. And I said, you know, it's funny because when you were in Chaotic, I always wanted to work Ortiz, right? And we crossed paths twice during that time. The NEI, which was the New England Independent, and he got hurt on that show. And then when he was working Sopo Liberty States, that's when I saw him again.
Right.
He got hurt on that show. And I said to him, I think I'm bad luck. I go, this is why we don't meet.
Right.
You know, and I remember she worked the show for APW, and he came out, and I think he was working Brian Malone, so I don't know who was working. But I didn't see where he got bailed out of the ring and he left.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the Freebird music came out, and he's in full demon garb. He put a blonde wig on and did the Michael Hayes entrance. And I think that was the most creative, like, awesome thing I've ever seen. But I mean, I went to his classes and I was learning stuff.
Right.
And I was like, here I was thinking to myself, 24 years in, and you're learning this stuff that you've never seen before.
Yep. Right.
You know, he just has, you know, a way of teaching stuff that's new. You know, and a line that he taught me is what's old is new. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And is another great guy. Every time I see him, I'm always joking with him, and I'm like, I hope I didn't rub you wrong with that joke. You know, a great guy.
Yeah.
Another woman that has actually had some success and impact to TNA Impact, Nikki Rocks.
Yes. She and I were married together
That's why I brought her up,
in
yeah.
WFA. And it's actually great because I learned a real lot from her because I was her first like girl because she had to teach because I was normally doing a lot of stuff with the men.
Right.
So the only one girl thing I did with Lobsterman was a cat fight roll around with Matt, Tarzan's girlfriend. So I've never really like wrestled, and so she would teach me a lot of stuff. And what was great was I was able to learn it like right on the spot. That's why she loved teaching me. She's like, "Oh, you teach it once," and I'm like, "I'll do it," and I'm there.
She was good at bringing the girls along.
Yeah.
That didn't know what they were doing. Which
Right.
was
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Well, we got 40 seconds. You want to plug anything? The next show you're going to be
We
on?
got Liberty States, December 22nd. Return on Nightbreed for that show.
Yes.
And then what's the AP? The Full Force Elimination 8 will be coming up soon, where we'll have our very first title defense.
And the Liberty States is at the McCarthy.
At the McCarthy School.
Middle school?
Johnny McCarthy School.
Yeah. So go check it out, guys. There's great shows all around. Please support independent wrestling. You know? Guys, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on
Thank you for
again.
having us again.
Oh, we'll do this again, you know?
Oh, yeah.
There's always it's wrestling. There's always so much to talk
Right,
about.
right.
Guys, we're out. Peace.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.